Hello. Good evening, and welcome to the third installment of the Adventures of Bastard and M.E. Gaslight Fireside readings, live from the church on Planet Quarantine. In tonight's session, I will be reading from the third day of the novel, and it's an even longer day, so we're not going to get through it. But I look forward to reading you a few of these passages. I hope everyone's well. Cheers. Adventures of Bastard and M.E. Xerxes Day 3. Chapter 10. Bastard gets another phone call. That's what woke him up the next day. He wasn't used to phone calls, and the rings that rang repeatedly displeased him. He got out of bed and kinda rushed his post-somnambulatory practices, increasingly motivated by a need to silence that awful two-eared broken calculator. By the time he sat down in the chair behind his desk, the phone decided to stop ringing. Bastard appreciated this moment of silence, but feared that the ringing would recommence. And he was right. He lifted the hand-to-ear piece. Bastard couldn't think of something to say. Hello? Hello? Thank you, and hello. This is the 7th time I'm calling. I've been desperately trying to reach you. Great. I'm happy for your success. I must ask, though, who is this you that you speak of? And who are you? You? Are you Detective Bastard? Is that who the first you is? Detective Bastard? The voice asserted forcefully. Bastard. Fuck you, came the nasal retort. Then, oh, I see, just Bastard. My name is Lance Newcomb. I have a company called Free Enterprise 999. I'd like to meet with you. Bastard didn't hesitate. Sure, yeah, come to my office. I don't know where that is. If I tell you where it is, will you then come? Yes, Newcomb replied truthfully. Okay, and Bastard announced his address. He hung up the phone and walked back over to the bedroom adjacent, where he regarded Curiosity. She lay still sleeping on the floor bed. Her beautiful skin and voluptuous thick black hair made her violent snoring tolerable, even cute. Though he had no memories of hooking up with her the previous night, her presence comforted him. After some thought, he shook his head and returned to the office and his chair. Soft gray powder appeared mauve upon the brown surface of his desk. About 1/2 gram of the white dove randomly sprawled across before him. He must have spilled some out last night. Bastard scraped the powder into one tiny mountain. With very little consideration, he rolled up a small piece of paper and blasted near half of the 1/2 gram into his right nostril, after which he ventured into a brief mental constitutional. Chapter 11. Bastard gets a job? Suspiciously soon, the rapping of bare knuckles pleading at the front door interrupted Bastard's slumped slumber. He lifted his head from its desk. I could see that he was both excited and nervous, because I could see him. Curiosity had awoken. She stood in the doorless doorway between the bedroom and the office, unclothed and quietly radiant. With sleep eyes, she asked him why he was already up. Bastard stood up and approached her. They embraced. The knuckles hit the door again. Oh yeah, yes, I'm coming. He waved Curiosity back into the bedroom and sat back down. I rose to my feet and opened the door. A tall, poorly dressed man in very expensive but ill-fitting attire entered the room and said, "Bastard, I am Lance Newcomb." Bastard assessed the man before addressing him. Lance Newcomb inhabited an aged but ageless figure that was slender but jagged, with a forward-jutting upper body. He was thin but wide-framed, like a flattened cardboard box. There seemed to exist a lot of space between his chalky gray skin and his clothes, which appeared to float around his body rather than fall fittingly. Imposing facial features informed an unfortunate physiognomy that offered a promise of forthcoming unpleasantness. His protruding proboscis appeared to be rotting. His physical form could not but insert itself. Walking like a clothes hanger that can walk towards a desk, the man advanced. Bastard knew, although he kind of knew before, that he wasn't going to like this guy. I closed the office door, which startled Newcomb. He twisted around and, seeing nothing, even more quickly snapped back to face Bastard. But for one split second, I saw his face divided into 8 like some pie. Oh yeah? Bastard stared hard and long at the man, which was very awkward. Then he laughed and got up. I'm just fucking around, man. Yes, welcome. Have that seat. The tall man sat down. I am not in a joking mood, detective. Bastard is fine. Sitting. What can I do for you? Lance Newcomb heavily heaved a huff. Then he slapped open palms on his thighs, just above the knees. Well, all right. Can I ask you a question? You just did. Okay, you're a smartass. I get it. Can I ask you a question or not? Yes, and we both know that you can. We've already established that. You're an utter jackass. Bastard agreed with a smile. He was starting to feel better, which prompted the realization that he had felt worse earlier. All right then, Lance grumbled. May I ask you a question? Another one? Fucking hell. Just kidding. Of course you may. I just hope that you learned your lesson. You are exhausting and exhaustive. Drink? Yes, please. Newcomb shoveled out in larded exasperation. This was neither interesting nor fun. Bastard reached into a drawer and brought out a bottle of grain, the same one he'd put away some time earlier for some reason he had thought was good at the time but could now no longer remember, and 2 glasses. He filled the latter with part of the contents of the former, then handed his visitor one of the glasses. I remained standing in the far corner of the room, observing their interaction as if I wasn't there. Bastard tilted his glass towards the old man and took a perfunctory sip off the top. So, what's your fucking question? All right, Mr. Detective Bastard. Here's the deal. I own a company called Free Enterprise 999. Ever heard of it? Wait, what? That's your question? What is the matter with you? Was that your original question? Or Lance's pallid face flesh now looked rouged. Bastard was exceedingly pleased with himself. Yes, he enjoyed being an asshole, and this routine had purpose. Do you talk to all of your clients this way? Actually, Bastard didn't have to think long to answer the question because he hadn't any clients. Actually, yes. Yes, I do. Go on. Right, of course. I know that you placed an order with our licensed pharmaceutical distribution center for a gross of dilaudid, Newcomb mumbled with uncertain authority. His small, deep, dark eyes darted around the small room nervously while he compulsively rubbed his palms up and down his thighs. I knew it was an act, and so did Bastard. But what role was he performing here? For whom? And for what? Lance Newcomb was at the top of the criminal overworld food chain, which means that he could eat everything, but nothing could eat him. Popular belief placed Lance Newcomb as the grand vampire. Whether or not that was true, he was unquestionably one of the most powerful sentient beings alive. He had no reason to be anxious before a systematically incarcerated, tortured, killed, previously dead, and generally ill-regarded peasant shit-starter pariah like Bastard. Assuming that this meeting was a setup, Bastard proceeded to prod for clues by continuing to play his own game. Newcomb resumed, You did get the law. Dude, what the fuck? Bastard seemed to react. This isn't some customer service courtesy call, and it's not a social visit because even though we've never met, we strongly dislike each other. Can we do this? I have to apologize. I'm not used to these types of situations, his voice skedaddling at the end. I watched his words disperse in random directions. That's okay, Mr. Creeper Man. Newcomb did not like this new nickname, which helped Bastard smile again. Your business ain't none of my business, unless you choose to make it your business to make your business my business. If you feel it, tell me what's on your purportedly ancient dome piece, and perhaps we can secure a more productive conversation. Bastard leaned back in his chair and sparked a bone. Thrilled to practice his private dick jive with a real-life client, he smoked with complete and utter disregard for whatever the shit was gonna be the shit of this situation. Are you gonna let me speak my fucking piece? Lance Newcomb faltered, half expecting Bastard to say something crude, rude, inflammatory, unhelpful. But Bastard knew how to keep playing and kept quiet. Newcomb was thrown by Bastard's sudden silence and apparent attentiveness. He resumed, I think someone may be trying to take me. Take you where, sir? Bastard couldn't resist. To rob me, to blackmail me, to fuck me and my business, you dolt, the old man slobberingly stammered. I see, said Bastard, unfazed by Newcomb's verbal attack. Listen, I'm sorry about that last one. I'm getting tired of this too. I don't like to repeat myself. It is tiresome and very unmotherfucking ladylike for myself. Please tell me what you want, because I'd rather you leave sooner than later. Cool? Newcomb groaned. I don't know what is it. Bastard downed his drink and took 2 last drags off his smoke before extinguishing it in the overcrowded blue opal ashtray. Cool then. Please, go on. For real. I own a very important, very profitable, highly specialized company, sir. of questionable legality, sir. And I have 3D video surveillance everywhere in the complex, as you should. And I was reviewing last night's tapes this morning. Naturally. Not naturally. Will you stop parroting me? It's not natural. I don't often review the security footage. I'm not a paranoid person. Maybe you should be, Bastard shot back, unsure of whether Newcomb meant that he was not paranoid or not a person. Indeed, the old man mused. Perhaps. Again, a person? So, what did you see on those tapes that has brought you to my offices today? Office. Fair enough. My wife. Your wife, sir? Yes, my wife. Oh, cool. And who was she? What was she doing? Not amused. Thanks, not sorry. Whatever. My wife was in the NTC last night, the Neurotransmission Center, with one of my top technical engineers, the extraordinary ordinator of the ordinateur, Yevhen Todorovsky. And this asshole is showing her how we transmit neo-narcotic neuro-radio wave stimuli to our customers. Ha ha! What's funny? You said customers. That's fucking funny. Go on. No one is allowed in the NTC. Not even the two guys who run the dissemination colors, except for Todorovsky. He's not allowed out of the NTC either. In fact, I never built a door for the NTC to ensure that no one could ever get in or out. But somehow, she got in there. And I want to know how. This is why I have tea. And I want to know how. I want to know what she's up to, because she's definitely up to something. I need you to find out for me. What is that something? Newcomb seemed to be sincere. I see. That doesn't sound right. How long have you known your wife? 400 large rotations. Has she ever tried to pull anything on you in the past? Threaten you or your business interests? Sleep with someone else? What? No. She can sleep with whomever she wants. That's not it. Only reason we're still together after all this time. Well, maybe it was a weird machine compromise kind of sex thing. You probably have nothing to worry about. Maybe she's working on a birthday surprise for you. Newcomb leered. I don't have a birthday. And even if I did, you're still not funny. This is a critical breach of protocol and trust. There is no good reason why she would be in my NTC, he awkwardly exclaimed rabidly, then tried to regain his composure. I want to know how she got in there, and why. He pulled the chair in closer, his skeletal knees almost hitting the desk but not, though he flinched slightly as if they had. Even if you are a junkie, he seethed through his teeth, I know you're not stupid, and I know your story. Have some respect for your elders. You're right. I'm not stupid. Disagree on the respect thing, though. Seems arbitrary. Age. Numbers, Fuck off. I'm older than death. Bastard decided that he no longer wanted to continue talking. Look, dude, this is already a boring memory. I listened to your story. No idea what it has to do with ME. My advice? Divorce your scheming wife and hire a more trustworthy, ordinarily ordained ordinance ordinator. What do you want me to do about it? I'm hiring you to follow my wife. I'm giving you a job, you ass. Newcomb expressed the last sentence with his greatest contempt thus far. He histrionically slapped a large envelope on the desk. "Here's a file on her." He like slapping like that. He stood up and walked out of the room before Bastard could ask him why he had a file on his own wife and tell him that he wasn't hiring clients at the moment. It's the end of chapter 11. Chapter 12 is called "In which the plot thickens with the addition of a new ingredient." The door announced its closure. The air within began to settle and relax. Nothing moved. Bastard waited for the envelope to say something. When he was sure that it would never talk, he picked it up, opened it, and turned it upside down. The envelope had contained 2 items, both of which were now on his desk. And although both items had already been on his desk, this was the first time they were directly touching its surface. He set it back down, wanting to think that he had achieved a major victory in the fight for equality. Then he realized how silly that sounded. He crumpled up the envelope and threw it in the garbage as the 2 newly liberated items cheered. He had brought about the end of their captor's reign. Bastard was a hero. One of them was a flat sphere of 5,000 balls. The other one was a photograph of Lance Newcomb's wife. Bastard grabbed his balls and put them in one of his drawers, after which his gaze unconsciously rested at Newcomb's drink. The fact that the glass hadn't moved since its initial placement bothered Bastard. But the glass had not come from the envelope. Upon refocusing his attention on the photo of Mrs. Newcomb before him, Bastard abruptly splattered a sputtered laugh from the depths of his spleen. Then he shrugged in appreciation, quick and true, as if saying, "Holy shit, that's hilarious. No shit. Ha!" Although he had never seen a picture of this woman before, he immediately recognized her. And though the possibility had never occurred to him, Bastard was not surprised to learn that Newcomb's wife was his new girl from the place, Despy. But he was amused, if unpleasantly. Chapter 13. The hydromorphone pills were small and easily finely crushable. Satisfied with the consistency of the powder, he set down his briquette and reflected upon how the fruit of his labor would taste. After very little thought, he added the rest of the white dove and mixed the combination. Next, he took a cigarette from a pack that contained other cigarettes. He rolled it between 2 of his most useful fingers, loosening the tobacco before dumping some of it out. This also made it easier for Bastard to remove the filter, which he ripped apart and replaced half of. Cigarette in mouth, he bent his head close to the desk and sucked some of the powder up into it. Then he twisted the top of the cigarette paper to close it. Before lighting up, he inhaled the remaining majority of the powder through a nostril. Bastard leaned back in his chair, white dove opiate coolly between his lips. Very carefully, he lighted up and motionlessly toked, holding in the smoke, sipping his drink, coughing, thinking, Why was Des inside the NTC last night? She's supposed to go there today. Why did she go yesterday? For what reason? Will she level? And will she go again tonight? Also, why did Lance Newcomb come here? To hire a private detective to tail his wife? Or to let me know that Despy's his wife? What could be gained by this play? And whose play is it? Are they working together? Or against each other? And how the fuck is Des over 400 years old? When the coolie died, he held his other hand under its long dead ash and carried it to bury it in the blue opal stray. Two things about this case bothered him. One was the fact that Lance Newcomb hadn't tasted his drink. Bastard reached over, grabbed it, poured the booze into his mouth, and leaned back in his chair. He awoke a circle or two later, slowly lifting his head from its position on his arm on his desk. He noticed a new burn on his forearm, which made no sense. The chronometer mumbled, 90. I didn't ask, Bastard spat. He drank what little was left in his glass. Then he stood up, gathered most of himself, and headed out to CME. Well, we'll do another chapter. This is chapter 14, entitled, The Mechanic is Alive. Bastard arrived at the bar, hoping his partner in crime might be there already. M.E. wasn't, of course. M.E. was always on time, exactly on time, all the time, no matter what time it was, even if it wasn't. Sitting at the table, he worked at his high balls carefully, thinking the situation over. I have the most brilliant criminologist in the world putting me to work. I have a beautiful woman working for me on the inside. And I've just been hired, finally, as a detective by the very man we're trying to take. It's too perfect. Something's not right. It's funny how the stir bends below the plane of the liquid in a glass. It's somewhat otherworldly and slightly unsettling. I wish it wouldn't do that. But something's not right. M.E., Des, Newcomb. What do these three people want from me? What am I getting myself into here? Oh, hey. Bastard started at the scraping of chair legs. What time is it? Dazed. 11:20:10:0. What's the matter? Miguel sat down. Nothing. Bastard shook himself up, coming to, regaining ultimate awareness. Cool. We got half a circle before Despy shows up. What's happening? How was the session? What? Court? Oh, yeah. M.E. laughed. I met with some of the lawyers today. Almost half of them, if I counted right. Supposed to meet some more later today, so I'll count again. But everything went fine today. It's a really nice feeling to simultaneously be on the level with the ones who want to control you while playing them like a pool shark at a dive bar full of wannabe players. I sank every pocket. I sank the 8-ball before they even had a chance to chalk their sticks. I can't believe you played billiards with them. Yeah, it's ridiculous, I know. But that's what they're doing these days. M.E. smiled. So far, so good. I can't wait to testify against Newt Humbert. That dude really has it coming. Unfortunately, it's hard to find his current address or any updated information on his whereabouts. I still don't understand what you're doing here, really, Bastard wondered. In the nation, I mean. While you're testifying against someone we don't know for doing something that you done did yourself after you were banned. You know we don't fuck with their courts. Oh, I thought it was clear. My bad. See, I'd already begun spreading rumors about Newt Humbert before I got exiled. It was a setup for another plan that I was working on at the time, well before my encounter. But that plan got foiled. So instead, I dropped Newt Humbert's name as being responsible for the guns and butter scandal. M.E.'s eyes scanned askance for any wayward glance. Even though no one was listening, he lowered his voice to say, "How I was able to pull off that heist, brother, after having been exiled, even just getting back into the nation on the low and then getting out, is too long of a tale to tell you in this moment. And so I waited for the right reason to resurrect him. Lebrick's discovery of the white dove led to the realization of the meaning of life for Mr. Newt Humbert. I sent the magistrates a postcard that Newt Humbert had come to see M.E. in my village in the south. Story goes that he was honored that I'd given him the time of day, which, after consulting my watch, happened to be 46. To make up for my graciousness, he shared with M.E. the details of the guns and butter joint. Being a citizen of the nation who wishes to make amends for past mistakes, I simply performed a national duty by passing the information along to the magistrates. And I told them that I'd be happy to testify against him. But who the fuck is... Are you daft? I am Newt Humbert. Newt Humbert is M.E. Damn, dude. Was that not clear? Bastard shrugged. Well, now you know. And now you know that you know. All good. What's up with you? Oh, I got a job today. What? Someone hired your ass to do some detective work? Didn't they check your record? They both laughed. Bastard relaxed, remembering who he was, where he was, who he was with, what he was doing there with his oldest, longest, most trusted friend. Yeah, right? It's ludicrous. But even more so, get this. My client, Lance Newcomb. My job, tail job. Tailing his wife. His wife, Despy Bell. Wow. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Does she know? Nope. At least not from my side. Not sure. Good. Don't tell her. Not yet, at least. Wasn't planning on it. Of course you weren't. Miguel smiled. At that moment, Despy's face appeared in the doorway. M.E. felt the air change behind him. Bastard had agreed to watch his back. As she opened the door and walked in. Turning his head, his eyes settled on her approaching body. Then M.E. turned back to Bastard, who was himself refocused on this distraction. Not this one, Jim. I think I heard him mutter beneath his breath as she traversed the floor towards our table, although I could be wrong. He rose to make introductions. M.E., I'd like you to meet Despy Bell. Des, may I present to you Miguel Evangelista. M.E. stood up, presenting the hand at the end of his extended right arm that presently met a hand of Des. I'd bet that neither of them had shared a pleasure, I'm sure, as they'd chosen to agree. Their skin gloves hugged and their arms wagged up and down. The clock spoke midnight, but softly in our ears. Everyone sat down. We waited in silence as the waitress took Despy's order. Then we waited in silence for some more. Bastard began again only after her drink arrived, at which point they cheered cordially, and then, M.E. is the brains before and behind and under and on top of this operation, he tossed about directly. Looking at his friend, Des is Agent Alien in this operation. Pleasantries completed, let us begin. Everyone sat down again once more. Do we know how to break into the neurotransmission center? Have you talked with the ordinator? Yes, and it went well. His name's Yevhen Todorovsky. I teased him into showing me around the NTC tonight after hours. Seems easy enough to get into, considering there's no door. Only issue is, they have security cameras running all night. Only M.E. and I could notice the unnoticeable flash in Bastard's eyes, and I don't know if M.E. noticed it. In Bastard's head, he wondered, why didn't Des say that she was in the NTC last night? Why is she holding out on M.E.? Then he thought quietly, without words. And then he thought, hell, if she's gonna play that, then she must not know that her husband, Newcomb, is playing it too. The cameras won't be an issue, Bastard carried on. And you'll meet our man, he'll be here soon. Who we sending in? The mechanic, of course. I thought he died. Did he? I didn't know that. Anyway, he'll be here. Bastard stopped talking, for he saw the man enter and stood up to greet him. The mechanic introduced himself to Des, and he and Miguel Evangelista paid each other respect. He always showed love. This is very important to the organization, and as a member of the organization, and as a lovely person, the mechanic knew that this mattered. The four of them sat and drank together. And then they drank some more, so as to talk. Bastard brought it back after a bit. So, yeah, Des, don't worry about the cameras. And dude, they got Triple D live surveillance, mad eyes in the sky, as expected. Just a confirmation. Bet, said Machine, the mechanic. My bad. Everyone nodded in accord. Everything is set then. Miguel picked it up to wrap it. Tonight, after the job is done, I'd like for the four of us to meet here. Tomorrow morning, we will all, everyone involved in this project, we will all meet at the loan. If anything happens and you can't make it tonight, tomorrow morning at the loan. M.E. turned his head and looked upward. He re-leveled and continued, I'd like to catch up tonight, but tomorrow's meeting is much more important. When we're in the loam, we're under the grid, so don't take any unnecessary risks. M.E. stood up and said his piece out reverse before leaving. You know what you are to do, and you know when and where. Bastard tried to seal. We're at the mechanic. Yeah, we're at the Lone Bee tomorrow. Desby flushed. Even the organization can't personally touch all three sons on the low. Bastard looked to make a knowing ha chuckle grin, even though he knew that M.E. had already bounced and there would be no reflection. He continued, y'all already know that no one knows where the loam is until it is there, where it is. You'll know when we know. If not tonight, then tomorrow morning. You will know. So, he stood up and pushed the chair back in under the table. Are we good? Everyone cool, right? Instead of waiting for their nods, he walked up to the bar, where he asked to use the phone. He pressed some buttons before coughing, "Yeah, this is Bastard," into it. "Newcomb? Yeah, come to my office. I have something for you. I'll be there in a bit. Just come after you close up. That's fine." Des and the mechanic went off to talk about shit. Bastard headed home. I think that is a good place to stop this evening. The next reading I will be doing will occur on Sunday. Oh, and a lot of people have been asking, so I wanted to let you all know that today is Wednesday, April the 15th, I think. Hope that helps. We have curated, well, the Donuts crew have really done this, but at 9 o'clock, Bo Mullis will be DJing on his Twitch platform account, John. And then Sean, aka Golden Child, Dax Donuts, and Kennard will have people playing records, strictly 45s, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight. You can stay tuned here because supposedly I figured out how to do that. Or you can follow them directly. Oh, Ari wants me to play some music. This is a song I wrote. I'm just kidding. I'm not turning into a headbeat. Shout out to Lord Digger. Thank you. Much love for yesterday. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I wish you all the best of health and stay safe. And wash your hands and be smart. But I don't have to tell you that because I know you are smart. I love you all. 9 o'clock, Raw Q. Check it out. Thank you.